Hello everybody and welcome to Duchess Royale, where I share my opinions and receipts on all things really interesting, but with a focus on major talking points. Some housekeeping first though, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel and also hit that notification bell so that you know when the next video is out. So let's just dive in. So, welcome to the March roundup, and I have to say that March was mad and messy as hell. And to be honest, it was dominated quite a bit by the Where is Kate saga health mystery. And so I'll be touching on that in this roundup, but child, this mess is so messy, it really does need its own video to cover the 3 photos and the 2 video scenario. But there's definitely some interesting issues that arose out of that to be covered in this video, including reactions and also the global response. And on the other hand, there are the royals that are living on the American Riviera. That is the Montecito Palace, to be exact. Well, they were just drinking water, minding their own business, and being peaceful under a tree. So let's get comfortable and dive in. Like Tina Turner's Rolling on a River, we're going to take things nice and easy to begin with, before things get, well, a little rough in the middle of this roundup. But kicking off, we have the unproblematic Sussexes. And with quite short notice, it was announced on Monday, the 4th of March, that Meghan would be part of a panel for SXSW as a keynote speaker. So that's South by Southwest, which is a conference festival which takes place from early March for a week. And it celebrates the convergence of tech, film, music, education and culture, and it takes place annually in Austin, Texas. Meghan's keynote panel discussion was about breaking barriers, shaping narratives, essentially how women lead on and off the screen. Now, the panel she was on was a fantastically impressive lineup, including journalist Katie Couric, actress Brooke Shields, and Nancy Wang Ewan. I don't know if I said that right, but she's an American sociologist who actually appeared on Meghan's Archetype podcast in 2022, and they talked about the Dragon Lady theme on that episode. Now, what was interesting about the news of Meghan's appearance for this event, in the first instance, was the interest and the turnout, especially when 4 years after she's left the institution of the Welfare Royals to become an independently financed one, royalists still continue to try persuading people that there is no interest in her outside of the royals. However, it was clear that Meghan's name on the bill caused an extraordinarily high turnout, and an organiser posted this footage of the queue in acknowledgement of this, and highlighted this by saying in the caption that it was like a Disneyland-like long line, specifically for the session that featured Meghan. And actually, other people that attended noticed the same thing as well, and they posted about it. This person, Mark, said, scheduling FUBA at South by Southwest, people are camping out in Ballroom D to see Meghan Markle later today, blocking us from seeing our preferred sessions. Chris here said, I don't know if I've ever seen a panel line as long as the one for Meghan Markle. And Samit said, today I'm standing in a queue that extends 3 levels down the stairs, hoping to get into the main keynote called Breaking Barrier, featuring Meghan, Katie Couric and other names. And one social media user said that the British media are pretending not to see this because they are determined to convince the British public that she's unpopular. Meanwhile, the vast majority of the world is in love with Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. Anyway, enough of that. I really think that this event was very much on brand for Meghan, given her long-time passion and activism for women's rights, including her work as an ambassador for women in the UN. So it was fitting that this South by Southwest summit took place on International Women's Day, Friday the 8th of March, and during the course of the discussion, Meghan talked about her collaboration with the Gina Davis Institute and Moms First on a report looking into the representation of mothers in the media. She also talked about her experience as an actress and then delved into her experience which occurred while she was in the royal family, although she specifically didn't mention the institution or the word royal family. But this was about her being subject to cyberbullying on social media around that time. Anyway, she, along with the other women, spoke about many topics, but I did think it was interesting that of everything she said on this panel, this clip was the takeaway for the British tabloids to make a headline out of.
The bulk of the bullying and abuse that I was experiencing in social media and online was when I was pregnant with Archie and with Lily and with a newborn with each of them. And you just think about that and to really wrap your head around why people would be so hateful. It's not catty, it's cruel. What I find the most disturbing, frankly, especially as a supporter of women, is how much of the hate is women completely spewing that to other women. And I cannot make sense of that.
What Meghan said there was powerful. People that have been following her story will probably be aware of that. But Meghan hasn't spoken much about it so directly. And I found it quite ironic because the British tabloids wrote these headlines and articles of Meghan's comment about being cyberbullied like they had nothing to do with the bullying. And they were there pretending to be the sane, professional journalists, just reporting what she said, when in fact, the very same papers and journalists were the very ringleaders who used their platform to put out misinformation, incite hate, and to give the green light for the internet trolls to attack and cyberbully her. But now they're reporting about the bullying, it makes it seem like they're trying to imply that they weren't involved.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
That goes on with the idea that they didn't chase her out of the UK too. Like there was nothing to see here, it wasn't me energy. But what I found bold of Meghan was that she highlighted that it was mainly women that were the main culprits of the cyberbullying. She also called out video sharing and other social media platforms, which seemed to actually encourage people to put out hate and to be rewarded with more money for doing this. Now, while in Texas, the Sussexes made a stop at Le Barbecue, a female-owned restaurant owned by Alice Shem. And while they were doing this, they gave the business some free promo and had a good meal of beef brisket at the same time. I swear, Meghan and Harry are the royal version of Keith Lee, the American food critic, whose appearances and reviews of black-owned restaurants have sent businesses through the roof. Another female-owned restaurant that Harry and Meghan visited in 2021 was Melba's Soul Food restaurant in New York.
I heard that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle came to Melba's.
Can you believe that? I mean, They could have gone anywhere in the world, Sherry, and they came to Harlem. And so it wasn't just a win for me, it was a win for we.
Yes.
Because what it was doing was it was telling people that are small business owners and people that have dreams that you can dream big and that somebody sees you, somebody hears you. And if I can do it, you can do it too.
Melba. But not only did they come, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, not only did they come to the restaurant, did they give you $25,000?
Girl, can you say that one more again? $25,000.
$25,000.
And on that, I just heard that she's soon to be opening her third restaurant, so kudos to her. Now, Harry and Meghan also visited VJ's, which is an Indian restaurant in Vancouver, when they were there in February for the 1 year to go Invictus event. So they might get an extra boost too.
And both of them walked through the back kitchen. They saw the whole spices and all the women in the kitchen that are cooking. And it was just incredible. And my kitchen staff was like so happy and they were so excited.
Vikram Vij tells us the prince had a little trouble with the spice.
He actually himself said, do you know I'm a ginger? Which means when I eat spicy food, I get like red and I could see it. Michael was loving it, Lou was loving it, Meghan was just like, and she actually wanted hotter.
And now, Le Barbecue in Austin, Texas, well, who knows what might happen for them? No pressure. After South by Southwest, Meghan and Harry also made a stop in Uvalde to support families of those who've lost loved ones in the Uvalde school shooting massacre, which was in May 2022. The event was hosted by Kaboom, which is an organisation that Meghan and Harry partnered with in 2022 to build a playground in order to bring joy to the community and the kids affected by the tragedy. Now, to me and to many others, their visit was so endearing as it spoke to the Sussexes' genuineness and the embodiment of their own motto, which is showing up and doing good. Now, I hate to always compare the Sussexes with the Waleses, but it's because they're so far away from each other on the spectrum of everything they do with service, compassion and empathy. But yet the media and the establishment make it look like it's William and Kate that are disproportionately leading the way on this, when, in my opinion, it's the other way round. The truth is that Meghan and Harry made the Waleses up their game, and I think it's questionable whether they even have still. So let's go back in time a bit and back up that comment I've just made. Because Meghan's first Uvalde visit compares with when Kate was applauded for going to a vigil for Sarah Everard, who was murdered at the hands of a rogue police officer in the UK in 2021 during the COVID pandemic. Now, this vigil was marked as unlawful at the time, and also face coverings were mandatory. So not only did Kate Middleton rock up to this vigil with her hair scraped off her face and unmasked, therefore breaking the COVID-19 rules, which obviously is designed to protect herself and other people too, but she was hardly given off the I don't want to be noticed vibes. Unless those mushy baby brains kicked in again. I mean, look at this photo. Everyone in this picture is masked up except her. And you can believe that social media users could see through the shameless PR and had their say. They were not buying it either. And this user said, Kate Middleton wearing casual clothes so that she could blend in, but failed to wear a mask so that she would get recognised by the press and the public. Paying respects, my ass. You're doing the dirty work for the monarchy to distract people away from the stories that have been. By the way, in case you were wondering, when Kate attended her vigil, the requirements of the UK were for wearing a mask outdoors. But for when Meghan attended the vigil in Texas, that was not the case outdoors. Anyway, moving on, this user said, nothing the Duchess of Cambridge or her husband do is with one iota of sincerity. All for publicity value. Like the rest of the royal family, their contribution during the pandemic has been negligible. No way you can mask that, and clearly not Kate herself, judged on vigil appearance. Then this other one said, why wasn't she wearing a mask? Because she needed to be seen. Why wasn't she arrested? Because all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. And he went on to say, 2 women, one wearing a mask, pinned to the ground and charged with COVID breaches. The other unmasked for publicity, strolling with impunity past her grandma-in-law's coppers. And here's one of her grandma-in-law's coppers, Cressida Dick, who was the then Commissioner of Police, bending herself into a pretzel, explaining why Kate was above the law, but pretending that she wasn't.
She's in the course of her duties. She was working, so of course in that.
Really, it was legal for her because you think she was there for work.
Let me go back. At that point, people.
You do. You want. You could.
Very calm vigil.
Hang on a second. You had said that if it was illegal, you would have gone, but you didn't go. You didn't attend the vigil. So we can assume from that, can't we? You thought no part of it was legal, including the part that the Duchess of Cambridge went to. But you're telling us this morning that if she was there for work, it was legal for her.
If it had been possible for people, what I'm saying is, it's possible to.
You do. You want. You could.
It wasn't just the Commissioner of Police, but it was also the papers that turned a blind eye and praised her, making the vigil all about her. I mean, this paper literally has a headline that says Kate's Vigil. This might be up now, but anyway, I digress. So, for Meghan's visit, well, arriving soon after the massacre, her visit was very much appreciated by normal people and the family involved in the tragedy. But of course, the bitter and salty royalists accused her of using a tragic situation for PR. No, that's your girl, Kate. But still, it was Meghan that was vilified for arriving incognito with a hat pulled down over her face to pay her respect.
I know that a lot of people are, of course, being critical of Meghan and this decision to go. But I mean, like, when you see her in the B-roll, like, she wasn't there with camera crews. She wasn't there with, like, photographers. She made a very discreet visit. Like, there are, you know, statements from some people that, you know, they weren't even really sure, like, it was Meghan.
But this criticism did not stop her from continuing to show genuine compassion and interest. She didn't just attend, have her photo taken, leave, and then leak through a source when the family had kept it to themselves that she'd written a letter to them. No, her compassion extended to her bringing food for the family that had lost loved ones, and her and Harry donating to the building of the playground, as I mentioned before, through their own Archwell Foundation. Now, one of the families that Meghan and Harry have kept in contact with was the family of Irma Garcia. She was a teacher who was tragically killed trying to protect her students in the incident. Now, her husband, who was her high school sweetheart, sadly died of a heart attack 2 days after the shooting. And I think that's literally an example of dying of a broken heart. But the couple left 4 children behind, and I believe that Irma's sister, Claudia, has taken them in. John Martinez, Irma's nephew, was really excited in posting about Meghan and Harry's visit. So Meghan is shown here bringing a cake with her to Claudia's birthday, and this video from the family's camera phones was really sweet, and it was posted online.
Everyone's singing too. Just you first, and then we'll go after.
1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Claudia.
Now, these are the precious, genuine moments from the modern royals that would have refreshed and rejuvenated the monarchy. In fact, they were doing that before they were pushed out. And indeed, now the jewel in the crown has got away. And I think it's a clear loss to the UK, hence the saltiness. But before we leave Texas with the Sussexes, there were some more cute moments from the two of them as they surprised Joy Bullawunmi in person as the winner of the Archwell Foundation NAACP Digital Civil Rights Award.
You won! Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Dr. Joy is the founder of the Algorithmic Justice League.
And this is an organization leading the way to overcome racist and sexist biases in AI systems, especially when it shows up in policing, in education, and in healthcare.
I really loved Joy's reaction. It was indeed so joyful. And from what I've read, she's doing great and important things in the digital space. But I'm sure that at this point in time, her expertise in AI might come in handy with the events that would surround the welfare royals coming up later in the next bit of the month of March. Oh Lord, where do we start on this one? It was over a 2-week period when the height of the Where is Kate debacle played out. Now, from my February roundup, it had just been a bubbling issue. And that Kate being in a coma story from that Spanish reporter is what I think was the trigger that caused the froth to froth over in early March. Because definitely the speculation placed a higher value and interest than ever before in people wanting to see Kate Middleton. Not because they need or cared about her, but because they wanted proof of life confirmed. And so despite the apparently never complaining, never explaining palace trying to shut down those rumours, calling it total nonsense, they did complain, and they definitely did try to explain in order to try and throw people off the scent of the conspiracy theories that were going on. Let's not forget that at this point, Kate Middleton had not been seen for over 2 months. And actually, these social media users from as far back as January were asking for proof of life. So you can see on the screen, here are some, and yeah, a lot of them were alluding to the monarchy's dark history of dodgy behaviour. And then, out of the blue, on the 4th of March, TMZ posted a picture of a woman that looked like Kate Middleton's mother, Carol Middleton, driving a car with a woman in the passenger seat looking like a woman that was not Kate Middleton, but was trying to make people think she was. Now, there were so many questions about this photo. Why an American photo agency? Why only one shot? It was supposed to be on the school run, which persistent royal PR was telling us that super dad Prince William was doing. Why does she look like that? Is that even her? The British tabloids did not even publish the photo anywhere because the photo was not authorised, which actually exposes that all the other pap shots of the royal family off duty have been authorised by them then, and that's if it suited the royal PR at the time. Now, with some people suggesting that this was not a photo of Kate, this only increased speculation, and so hoping to kill the speculation, Kate Middleton released this photo on the 10th of March, which was Mother's Day in the UK. So here it is. And we were told that the photo was actually taken by William. You're right. And while the royalists were gushing over that, it didn't take long for this photo to be completely dismantled, because within hours, social media users held this photo as a fake photo from its obvious extensive Photoshop alterations. Now you can see here the issue in question. The biggest boo-boo was that she didn't have her wedding ring on. I mean, it was so bad that that very evening, photo agencies did the unprecedented and issued kill notices, which were in light of the fact that they agreed that the photo had been manipulated so much that they could not stand by the photo as authentic.
Clearly a lot of problems with the photo, so it shouldn't have been validated. I think as soon as it was, all the photo editors and all the major agencies immediately saw there was a problem and got together and spoke about it and say, what do we do?
And of course, this further added to the speculation about where is Kate. So as you can see, a post here from pop culture commentator Jason Okindeye on the same day, he posted this saying, this Kate thing is starting to become more chilling than funny, you know. With users responding saying, it went from a silly little conspiracy joke to the genuine possibility that they're covering something up. And another user said, I just want proof of life. So with many people on social media saying more or less the same thing, pressure was on the palace. But I think that what had the royal family shooketh was the fact that reputable agencies were making out on a global stage that the royal family and Kensington Palace in particular
Sit on a throne of lies.
And so their reputation was in shambles just from one photo.
You said that Kensington Palace was a trusted source for you at the AFP. Is it still a trusted source?
No, absolutely not.
I mean, it is a widely held view, just like this one expressed here, that says, the royal family are always covering stuff up. Secrecy is in their DNA. Got to keep the plebs guessing. And in one of the most obvious displays of complaining and explaining, which they always do, but they just do it discreetly through royal reporters. In the morning on the 11th of March, that was the next day, Kate had released a statement via her social media, which was supposed to be an apology, but was actually just an apology that we were confused by the doctored photo, whilst mentioning that she just likes to play around with photo editing, but not actually saying that she did edit that photo. See for yourself, this is what she said.
Like many amateur photographers, I do occasionally experiment with editing. I wanted to express my apologies for any confusion the family photograph we shared caused.
Now, their strategy was clearly to word it so that it wasn't an admission of photo tampering by Kate, whilst also minimising what the agencies had said was photo manipulation and making it sound like just some light editing. I just find the response from the royalists was typical. Just believe the royal family at all costs, don't question anything, and if you don't believe them, then just pretend that you do and make it seem so harmless. And you know that if this was Meghan, the same royalists would be up in arms, calling her everything but a child of God and shouting liar, liar. Check out this blindly loyal royalist here.
Hertfordshire, hi.
Hello, good morning.
Do you care about this? Maybe it's a storm in a teacup.
We should leave her alone. The poor girl's been ill. It's none of our business. She's taken a delightful photograph. That's what we should be concentrating on. Just leave the poor girl alone.
If it was Meghan, would you feel the same?
I don't want to be involved in that discussion.
Oh, okay. All right, well, I'll head back here.
But despite loyal royalists queuing to defend Kate on television shows, the more questioning and doubtful spaces on social media were not having it. And the speculation has gone on till today. Because why would a woman who has not been seen for months, even by webcam, finally provide a photo supposedly taken recently and heavily manipulate the photo so much? And as was reported then, refused to provide the original version to the photo agencies in order to prove their innocence, therefore leaving them no choice but to do all those kill notices. Why? Could it be because without normally getting caught out, they're used to just telling
lies, lies, and more lies, and lies on top of lies?
Anyway, well, after that, we had a third photo. Now, this one was the very next day, and it had Kate in the car with William, supposedly on the way to an appointment, while he was going further on his way to the Commonwealth Day church service that was taking place. But as you can see again, her face is not visible. Turned to the side and looking suspiciously like she just didn't want to be seen. Now, whether people thought this was her or not really wasn't the issue. The issue for me and for other people was just how delusional the palace are.
Okay, you're delusional.
That's Kate and William's team. That they thought that this would serve as a message that everything in the House of Windsor was A-OK.
Nothing to see here, please!
And of course, all it did was prove or heavily suggest that if anything, the Mother's Day photo was probably sliced, spliced, and put together like a jigsaw. But the contrast on the two photos was suspect. 2 days prior, in order to shut the public up, Kate Middleton presented a photo where she was supposedly front and centre in the picture with her kids grinning teeth. And the next day, for this authorised photo, going back to being shy again and twisting her head round further than the girl in The Exorcist could do. All just not to be seen. While this photo was probably put out to kill the discussion about the Mother's Day photo, that failed. And people still had lots to say and a whole lot of side-eyeing was going on. Speaking of that, I think that the one person that came out of this as if they weren't involved was Prince William. Now, he should have been talking and standing by his wife. Prince Harry would never not. William was the so-called cameraman of this ill-fated Mother's Day photo, but he just did a Simpson into the bushes after those kill notices came out. And he really was on that never complain or explain mantra because he was looking at Kate to do that.
You're on your own.
So Kate was being blamed for editing the photo that she sat for, which he snapped. But Prince William was out here practicing the Beyonce mute challenge. So that husband of the year, William, watched Kate getting dragged up and down the internet and back again. And, of course, many people believe that he's no stranger to throwing family under the bus.
That I wasn't just being thrown to the wolves, I was being fed to the wolves.
Yeah, I think he did that to her and Harry on a daily basis. But it is ironic how the press have tried to give William the same saviour, fiercely protective husband edit that Harry has. Look at these recent reports. So this is from February. Prince William trying to shield Kate from the new royal pressure since surgery. From December, Prince William determined to protect Princess Kate at Royal Variety performance. And from March, Prince William in protect mode to support Kate Middleton and kids after tragic history. So that one specifically said that a friend of the Wells said, undoubtedly, what has happened to him in his life with his mother has led him into protection mode that he is in now. And this last one to show you says, Prince William's determined gesture to protect Kate Middleton amid royal racist row. Yes, we haven't forgotten about that and how everything that's going on is distracting from that. But this is where we see that all these puff pieces on Prince William as a heroic, strong character are false PR. And this time, royalist TV hosts and reporters were actually complaining about William and his lack of protection of Kate. Anyway, so then it ended up that we had two videos served up. First of all, a TMZ video of two people at a farmer's market in Windsor, supposed to be Kate and William and taken by a member of the public. But I have to say, once again, this had suspicion written all over it. That does not look like Kate. And even if it was, let's not forget that at this time, she and her team had been telling the public that she was so unwell. So for some people, seeing Kate looking so young, fresh, sprightly, made them think that they were being played in some weird royal scam.
Girl, stop playing with us right now. Like, we really don't feel like...
In fact, dressed casually and actually looking genuinely happy to be with William was quite unusual. And I would say that she looked the best she'd ever looked. Now, the video showed no one in the background seemed to recognise or be excited of the royal couple that were next in line to the throne, casually shopping near them, and also supposedly missing with an international scandal of where Kate is. So the person who took the footage was actually interviewed and gave a really bizarre interview, which just didn't make sense at times, and made out that he was not a royalist or someone who followed the royals. And then he was acting all protective over Kate like he was a royalist. So it was highly suggestive of a plant to me and to other people as well. Then we had commentators admit that there was this whole setup around this farm video.
And it's no accident that we're seeing out in Windsor at the weekend. They wanted that to happen because that's their way of saying she's getting better, she's out and about. Yeah.
And the editor of The Sun, who got the rights to the video, also admitted that she'd been in contact with the palace over the video and how it should be released in order to change the narrative and get the public to lay off Kate.
I was really moved the day of the Photoshop fail when the whole world was attacking her. I just thought it was outrageous. This poor woman was clearly ill and was so desperate that she tweaked a photo, minor tweaks, to make it look a little bit better. So that's why I did that front page, and it was really important. It then changed the narrative. A lot of the rest of the media then started saying, back off Kate. In terms of reporting the fact that they went out to the Windsor farm shop a few days later, they knew that if they went out there in public, mingled with members of the public, they would be seen and potentially photographed, because everyone's got a camera phone now, and that's how it happened. It wasn't a photographer, it was a camera phone. And of course, I was in discussions with the palace all along with that, and there was no problem with us running those images, and it kind of felt that the nation was desperate to see her.
So now we're admitting that the newspapers don't report news, but they work with the palace to create and change narratives. Yet, Harry and Meghan have lied when they said that there was a cosy relationship between the royal family and the tabloids, and that they worked against them. You see, the stone that the builders rejected and called a liar will be proved a truth-teller in due time. So, in short, the lady in the video did not look like Kate, and it looked like a setup. I think I will discuss this in another video, but a lot of people on social media thought this, and also Bot Sentinel owner Christopher Boozy has gone on record saying he's run tests on that video, and he's clear that that's not Kate in the video, and he's also posted this saying,
you know, whoever can do this, the Sun can do this, we can do this. We're going to just start putting out videos. So we need a press that actually does this job. And I'm not going to lie to you, I am frustrated and upset that video it's still being reported as fact weeks later, and it's a hoax. I yield the mic.
This shit just got rigged.
So this is getting deep now, because if that's true, then we're in the territory of body doubles, and that is quite sinister. Now, alongside this, and with the speculation only intensifying, we were in the era of a Kate situation where she was fodder for memes, and she was also being spoken about in comedy skits or by celebrities making jokes of her in their caption. And then there was this from Stephen Colbert for his late night TV show.
Internet sleuths are guessing that Kate's absence may be related to her husband and the future King of England, William, having an affair. Oh no, my heart goes out to poor Kate. Now let's dish the hot goss. I am ready to spill the tea, literally.
And I think this got under the royal family's skin because he has a massive platform. And the fact that he also commented on the rumoured affair that Prince William is said to have had with Rose Hambury, and also referred to an illegitimate child, well, that was a problem. I tell you, royalists get so defensive and are very sensitive when Americans look down on them and the monarchy. There was a number of days when the royal reporters were acting like cult members, henchmen, demanding apologies from social media users who dared to speculate about Kate, even though the reasons they were doing this was because of the palace handling, which created the concerns in the first place. But it got to the point where they were also calling for celebrities to feel ashamed and to issue formal apologies. Despite the War of American Independence and the Americans not being subjects of the British Crown, that included Americans and Stephen Colbert, who actually didn't issue one. But at this time, this showed that they could have done this for Meghan when trolls and certain TV commentators went after her and even mocked her child. But the royal family chose not to. Wonderful royal family, right? Maybe not. Now, it would not be until the 22nd of March, 5 days later, when the palace manager rolled Kate out, or some would say an AI version of her, to make this groundbreaking announcement, which would finally get everybody, nearly everybody, to stop and to give her the respect that she sought.
In January, I underwent major abdominal surgery in London, and at the time, it was thought that my condition was non-cancerous. The surgery was successful. However, tests after the operation found cancer had been present. My medical team therefore advised that I should undergo a course of preventative chemotherapy, and I'm now in the early stages of that treatment.
Despite Kensington Palace back in January saying her surgery was successful and there was no cancer, the story now here was that they had found cancer and that she would be doing preventative chemotherapy, which is a term that the doctors have queried the existence of. But from what we can gather, this would suggest that any cancer found has already been removed, and the forthcoming treatment was to prevent it coming back or to kill any remaining cancer cells. Well, that's what I understood from it anyway. Maybe I'm wrong, and actually maybe Kate is actually playing down the real issue in the video. Either way, the media reported like she still has cancer, and many of her supporters from the extreme right-wing channels such as GB News and Talk TV, her royal reporter associates and media collaborators were wishing her a speedy recovery, but also showing anger at the public for what they called was bullying of Kate. Ironically, just before they would then start a segment which would be one of them or all of them trying to bully Meghan and Harry for doing something like eating or breathing. Anyway, Kate said that she would be fine, and if we are to believe the person that was bouncing around in the farm shop was her, then maybe that's true. But I did think it was strange that in that video she had dark brown hair, but then in the space of a few days, she decided to dye her hair to a light brown tone, just before she starts chemo. It's a bit odd, but I suppose that could be a wig, who knows. I think one thing I considered as a side thought is Kate's ongoing commitment to copying and taking her lead from Meghan, even when Meghan has moved far, far away from her across an ocean. The commitment reached as far as taking Meghan and Harry's approach to giving and filming their statements from their bench in their garden, which happened to inspire Meghan's children's book, The Bench. However, for Kate, it seems hers may even not have been filmed outdoors. But I guess come hell or high water, it must still look like Meghan's. So perhaps they got a green screen garden background. Anyway, the cancer story, though a cause for alarm and distress to many monarchy supporters, just on a human level, I think, the video was very successful and it did a lot to silence and quash the raging conspiracy theories. It did quite a lot. But, and there is a big but, there were a few issues that people spotted with the new video, like her hair not moving or the trees and the flowers in the background not moving either, even though she was supposed to be outdoors. Also, it's great to recycle clothes, but she had a top on from 7 years ago, and that was just a little suspect for Kate to do from an AI suspicion perspective. Another thing is that many Americans commented that for the first time they could actually understand everything that Kate had said, so they questioned what has occurred to make that suddenly happen now. There were queries raised how her wedding ring, which was on at the time, this time, disappeared at a point when the footage was slowed down, and generally it and her just looking a little bit fake. Now this was a big thing on social media sites like TikTok, but also all over generally. Well, people were putting 2 and 2 together and they came up with the video must be AI. And therefore they concluded that Kate was still missing. Now it sounds wild, but based on what we know about everything her team have done to keep her hidden, is it such a wild theory? I don't know, who knows? Anyway, soon after this announcement, Meghan and Harry came out with a brief statement wishing Kate healing.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle speak out following Kate Middleton's cancer diagnosis. The couple say in a statement per NBC News, "We wish health and healing for Kate and the family and hope they are able to do so privately and in peace."
So that statement was very short and sweet and to the point. And to me, I think it gave off, I don't know you that well vibes, but I wish you well. So when the Daily Mail wrote about Harry and Meghan releasing the statement, they followed that with, "It remains unclear if Harry will return to the UK as he did after King Charles's cancer diagnosis." And British tabloids ran stories that Harry and Meghan were not told the news in advance of the public being told, as if that would hurt Harry and Meghan. Also, a report like this one that Harry and Meghan had reached out to Kate privately. Now, I don't know about that one because it didn't come from their spokesperson, but I'm pretty confident that they don't really have that relationship with her anymore. And I don't know that they would care or expect to be told that information in advance. But in order to run that upper hand narrative, the tabloids want to give the impression that Harry and Meghan are desperate to be back sitting at the table with that family and those in-laws that played a major part in the abuse that they experienced in the UK and still are. How strange. I mean, it's not happening.
Can't you get that through your greasy head?
So let's be serious. I don't really think that Harry would have considered taking a 14-hour flight to come and visit Kate, and vice versa. Of course, while the news of Kate is very sad, I just don't think the relationship is like that. So I really did have to roll my eyes. Let's be serious. Okay, so on to the next story. Now this year, the Diana Awards were scheduled to take place on the 14th of March. The Diana Awards recognise over 180 exceptional young leaders who are transforming their communities and driving positive change. Founded in honour of Diana, the original and the one and only Princess of Wales, the awards recognise youths aged 9 to 25 years of age for their social action or humanitarian work, continuing the legacy of her belief that young people have the power to change the world. Actually, from what I saw of the event, it went smoothly, but the focus in the news was on the fact that both Harry and William would be in attendance. Harry remotely from Montecito Palace or from wherever he was at the time, and then William in person, with William leaving before Harry's stint, which was to meet the awardees.
This morning, new signs of trouble for the royal family. Prince William and his brother Harry appearing at the Diana Awards, an event honouring their mother, but choosing not to appear together.
This evening's Legacy Award is particularly special as it marks the 25th anniversary year of the Dinah Award.
William made his appearance in person, delivering remarks and then leaving before Prince Harry appeared virtually from California.
My mum would be incredibly proud of all the work that you've done. I'm incredibly proud.
I mean, blah, whatever at this point. People shouldn't be surprised or shocked that they don't want to be in the same room because they are and have never been close. Well, according to what Harry said in Spare, that's the case. And more so after William, as Harry says, threw him under a bus and briefed against him and Meghan to defame them in the press and to cause them to leave and settle in Montecito in the first place. And also William's anger that Harry has revealed this publicly. For me, the interesting thing about the event really was the stark contrast in the reaction of the young people to the two princes when they were in their presence. I saw a very muted reaction to the more formal William, and for the relatable Harry, the young people were very much in awe of him and quite giggly.
So this has been an amazing evening.
Hopefully.
I'm Sophia from London. We really miss you here. It's such a pleasure to meet you. I'm a huge fan of your mom and yourself. My name is Karen. So I think I can cry now. I didn't take all this makeup to cry like before. I can cry now.
He is incredible. His answer about fearlessness, incredible. What an inspiring guy, honestly.
Incredible guy. That's what they said. It was quite genuine there, and you know that they miss him in the UK. I think they like Harry better. And actually, this is a reminder that if Harry and Meghan were to return to the fold, which, by the way, in my humble opinion, I think they would never do and never want to do, then the problems with Kate and William would not change. Harry and Meghan are still the royal couple who have more appeal and relatability. And I think that against that, William and Kate wouldn't be able to cope with that. And I think they would just start briefing again, or rather continue doing so, but in close proximity. So despite what the reporters are trying to do, which is to force them together again, because I think behind the insults, they know that the monarchy needs the star couple back. In reality, perhaps there's more peace in the separation and space. On the same day as the Diana Awards, Meghan launched American Riviera Orchard on Instagram. Now, there was anticipation that she would return to Instagram from last year, so there was already a buzz about this from long before. Now, let me tell you, this launch had the haters shooketh, because this is a major business move for Meghan, who has previously helped or invested in other businesses such as Clever Blends, which with her guidance, contacts and resources was able to take that small business from selling at small markets to being sold in major retail stores. So Meghan has been known for having the Midas touch, helping small businesses take off. But now she's doing it for herself. And that's what the haters and the royals are scared of. Why though? Well, it's because her success and the ongoing financial independence of the Sussexes is not good for the idea that if you leave the amazing monarchy, that you will falter in every way possible and that you will need to come running back. You see, within the monarchy, money was a tool used to control the Sussexes, cutting the security and hoping that it would reel them back to the gilded cage. But they said nah, and instead they got on that freedom flight headed for California.
Good morning. It's 6 a.m. on the 14th of March, and we are on the freedom flight. We are leaving Canada, and we are headed to Los Angeles.
So this flight took off on the 14th of March. So of course, that was a perfect and symbolic day to launch American Riviera Orchard. Of course, in reality, the royalists didn't really care that she launched it on the same day as the Diana Awards. I mean, the Diana Awards is never really front page news anyway. But the coincidence was something that they would take and use to make her look bad, despite the fact that other royals have had clashes and they're never vilified. So they said that Meghan was not just trying to steal the spotlight from William, but that she was also trying to steal it from her husband too. This is so weird. It's just a website launch. Two things can be reported on the same day. Unlike other royal couples, it's clear that Meghan and Harry like each other. They live together, they talk to each other, and it probably was not a strange concept, or isn't a strange concept, that Prince Harry was well aware when American Riviera Orchard was dropping, and he's not an insecure man, baby, and he supported his wife in doing that. And probably they thought it was a nice day to drop it in conjunction with the Diana Awards. Now, it's no surprise that the whinging royal reporters acted like they didn't know the additional meaning of that day, because there were American reporters that reported it, and if they knew, then the British royal reporters knew. Now, I have a whole video about the launch of the American Riviera Orchard site, so do check that out on the channel. Now, this is not about a royal, but a relative of a royal. But I've included this in the Royal Rundown because this relates to Gary Goldsmith, who is the uncle of Kate Middleton. You see, he was part of the lineup for the return of Celebrity Big Brother in the UK after a 6-year hiatus airing in early March. Now, I'm side-eyeing this occurrence and I'm calling him a Meghan hate campaign agent sent directly from the royal family on behalf of Kate and William. Allegedly. That's my belief. Because I do think it was a convenient timing and Gary might have been a short last-minute booking because the climate determined this was suddenly a good idea with there being major developments with Kate herself, and this was after where the Kate Conspiracy Fest was reaching fever pitch. Then Gary in particular, who is Kate's mother's youngest brother, has been known to be vocal within the Let's Trash Duchess Meghan campaign, which is so obviously to me with Kate's blessing, because I think if she didn't want him to do it, she could just tell him not to. Indeed, over the years, Gary, who, let's stop for a minute, has never met Meghan, but can't keep her name out his mouth with all his vitriol. On and off paper, Gary is a mess.
I don't understand why this former drug-taking wife-beater is even on Celebrity Big Brother, to be quite honest. He knows nothing more than the rest of us.
And his record of domestic violence was seemingly overlooked by ITV to allow him to be part of the CBB lineup, even though ITV was simultaneously running an anti-domestic violence campaign. You literally can't make this stuff up. Anyway, Gary is an alleged cokehead and street urinator, and he's been married 4 times. In 2017, Gary was arrested for domestic violence on his current wife. He later pleaded guilty to the charge and he received a $5,000 fine and was ordered to attend alcohol rehabilitation. Then we had Sharon Osbourne, who was kicked off her regular spot as a talk show panel host on the American TV talk show Talk for racism and defending Piers Morgan's comments about him not believing Meghan had suicidal ideation.
The confrontation on the set of the talk happened after Osbourne defended Piers Morgan.
I'm sorry, I don't believe a word she says.
Who unapologetically brushed away Meghan Markle's claims that members of the royal family dismissed her mental health and also expressed concerns about the color of her son's skin.
Sorry, can't do this.
NPR media correspondent David Folkenflik says Osbourne's comments came off as tone deaf.
To be oblivious to the context in which Morgan made his remarks, the dismissiveness he had for some of his colleagues and commentators, particularly those of color, it cuts against the moment we're currently living in.
These stale royalists are really ready to lose a paycheck in order to badmouth and bully Meghan, because that's actually what Piers Morgan and Sharon Osbourne did. But on her talk show, her co-host even tried to reason with her by saying that it looked like she was endorsing Piers Morgan and his racism. But she just played dumb.
Educate me. Tell me when you have heard him say racist things. Educate me. Tell me.
He doesn't want to understand that how Meghan was treated was racism. That white entitlement privilege that makes it racist upon itself. Once you say I stand by my friend, then people think, well, then you must agree with what he's saying.
When we kind of give passes or give space to people who are saying damaging, harmful things, what we're kind of doing is permissing it.
Did I agree with what he said? No. Everybody goes, if you support him, then you must be racist because he's racist. I'm not racist.
Whatever she's selling, I'm not buying, because I think that she was lying and that she did really endorse Piers Morgan's views, because she went on to badmouth Meghan in other places. And I think that she just put a face on for the American market. But in England, the land of the free to bash Meghan Markle, she took that with both hands and ran with it. And just like these headlines show, she was bashing Meghan when she was on Celebrity Big Brother, and she did it repeatedly. Meanwhile, Meghan is sitting peaceful under a tree in Montecito. The selection of people chosen was just too convenient and smelt like a setup. It was evident, along with loudmouth musical manager Louis Walsh, Gary and Sharon were purposefully brought in so ITV could air Meghan bashing sessions. The first one happened on the opening night within the first hour.
Harry was really, really, really loved. Like, massively loved.
He was.
And when they were a threesome, so Kate, William and Harry, they looked really comfortable together, loved, and then suddenly there's an extra dynamic that comes in, puts a stick in the spokes, and creates so much drama that I don't genuinely think was there, and rewrote the history and said how unhappy he was. And I just don't think that's fair.
Over this time period, all British TV were telling us how we must be kind about Kate Middleton while seemingly airing unnecessary clips of Meghan bashing. You could see royalist Meghan-hating pundits desperately hoping for more of the bashing sessions and hoping that when Gary was at risk of eviction, that he'd end up staying. However, the response on social media was a reminder that the mainstream press and right-wing royalist presenters do not speak for the entire UK, as they say. Particularly Gen Z and Gen X, who were calling out ITV and were writing comments like this on social media. So this one said, starting to think the celebs on CBB have been told to talk positively about Kate Middleton and trash Meghan. Then this one says, Kate Middleton is literally missing and these housemates still find a way to slag off Meghan Markle. I mean, change the record, CBB. The hate on Meghan came across as planned. Sharon, Louis, Fern have probably been told that there is a backlash towards Kate. Being nasty towards Meghan, can't handle the fact that Harry is happily married to an amazing wife. Then this one said, the Meghan slander is so annoying. Imagine being so cynical about life that somebody who is beautiful, charitable and loving seems too good to be true, and there must be more to it. I feel sad for them. They've never had that in their own lives. Some people are just good. CBB. And then this one said, interesting how ITV aired an entire attack on Meghan Markle again. Then suspiciously cut off before Prince William was criticised. You're telling me I've met William, but I still like Harry better, was all Levi said? Even though he was audibly mid-sentence? This clip is what that user was referring to.
Okay.
Okay.
He's very good with people.
Raising money. Okay.
Yeah, bringing people together.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love Harry.
I love
Do you?
Yeah. He's a people person. I've never met Harry, but I've met William. And I still like Harry better.
And again, on this clip, this is what this person said. Levi is speaking the truth about Harry and Sharon. Louis and Fern looking shocked. People actually do support Harry and Meghan. I may not be a royalist, but I fully support both of them. They're living their life now, so let them be, CBB. And this person said, Oh dear, even on CBB, the order of the day is Meghan Markle. Their obsession with her truly must be a state of unwell within themselves. And then a couple of people just had some funny gifs complaining that they're talking about Meghan again for no good reason. And it's slander. Here's an interesting clip, which is very telling.
Can I ask you a question? Where's Kate?
So because she doesn't want to talk about it,
We can't talk about it.
the last thing I'm going to do is there's the kind of code of etiquette.
It's very interesting that Gary mentioned that when it concerns Kate, there's a code of etiquette, just like this TikToker covered in her video.
And one thing I want to say is I believe without a shadow of a doubt that he definitely had, the palace's green light to appear on this show. And he's only been in there for all of 5 minutes, and you would think that he would just be talking about how the conspiracy theories of Kate Middleton getting a BBL aren't true. Nope, he spends the whole time pretty much, ish talking Meghan and Harry. And he's even admitted in the past that he's never even met Meghan or Harry as well. And it didn't really seem like people were down for it. And these aren't even royal watchers at all. This definitely seemed like it backfired. This doesn't really bode well for Kate Middleton, in my opinion, or the royals for that matter, because how are you going to have all these calls for kindness and understanding in regards to Kate, but then let her uncle get on national TV and talk crap about another member of the British royal family?
Also, this is a reminder that from the last non-celebrity Big Brother, that regular people without an agenda, without looking for paid slots on GB News or Talk TV, Meghan bashing stations, they like Meghan, and despite the mainstream media trying to rewrite narratives and to make her seem like a demonic person, they like her and they get her story.
That's why I felt really rejuvenated when Meghan Markle joined the royal family.
Same. I was like, oh my god, this is finally a royal family that I can get on board with. Until after a year, she had to flee the country because the media started saying that she was
And then what even mean when she left? It's like they were angry when she was staying, then they're angry she's leaving. I'm like, you're gonna hate her in close proximity. They're like, get back here.
So, in other flash news to round off this roundup, there's a story about Kate Middleton's medical records. So it was reported that hospital workers had tried to access Kate Middleton's medical records during her stay in hospital for abdominal surgery. Now, this one's a bit strange, to me anyway. The police have been asked to investigate a particular hospital worker, but we don't really have much more information about what's going on with that. And I think this came out with a spate of articles which were put out to arouse more sympathy for Kate. Also, good news for Meghan, who was successful in challenging the lawsuit against her by her father's other daughter, Samantha Markle, who she does not know. At least that's what she says. This is the one that took Meghan to court because Meghan said she was not close to her and that she was raised as an only child of her parents, which she is.
It was great fun being big sister, and she was delightful.
I don't know your middle name. I don't know your birthday. You're telling these people that you raised me and you've coined me Princess Pushy?
Tom's kids were a good 17 years older than her. And Meg and I left when she was 2.
I mean, the last time I saw her must have been at least 18, 19 years ago. I mean, this is a very different situation than my dad, right? When you talk about betrayal comes from someone that you have a relationship with, right? I don't feel comfortable talking about people that I really don't know.
I mean, the whole case is up there with the strangest cuckoo for Cocoa Pops and what Meghan has to deal with. Samantha has dedicated her time to painting Meghan as the most evil, horrible person in the world. Yet, on the other hand, she desperately wants Meghan to acknowledge her because essentially that's what the whole case is about. And it's really weird because if you take a moment to think about it and think about the worst serial killer in the world, if that person was related to you, but they didn't acknowledge you, would you be out here fighting to get that truly evil, horrible person to let the world know that you were once close with them?
Make it make sense.
But Samantha has confirmed that she is appealing, and one of the funniest, weirdest news is that she's apparently cited Kate Middleton in her papers and is calling on Kate to give a supporting statement. Good luck trying to find Kate, but I think is an indication that Kate is perceived as someone who is likely to want to be spiteful to her sister-in-law in that way. Then in other news, for Meghan, the BBC bought the rights for Suits to air on iPlayer in the UK, and that will start off in early May. And of course, right-wing hate news channels lost their minds over this. And this is also another story that I cover in that American Riviera video, so please do check that out on the channel again. And then there's news reports that came in of Prince William planning to do less engagements as a royal and as a future king, where he will focus on work night and day. All behind the scenes, of course, so we can't see. And yes, I believe that this is him trying to get that Sussex lifestyle of not really doing a load of engagements like ribbon cutting as a tax-funded royal would do, but instead coming out infrequently for selected engagements. But since he's not independently financed and he's tax-funded, good luck with trying that out. Then Harry, finally, he filed new paperwork in his case regarding the phone hacking trial with the Sun newspaper, whereby having called out Piers Morgan's name in February, he went ahead and called out the head honcho. He called out Murdoch. Now, this is an ongoing story, and there are other cases by other people that are taking the newspapers to court, and they've had to settle because of the way in which the court system is set up, which means that even if you win your case, you might end up paying more, like millions, out in costs. So we don't know what's going to happen with this. And I think just to close this video, I will say that whatever happens with that case, I really do think that Prince Harry is a legend for all his efforts in taking the nefarious and, as I believe, the criminally culpable tabloids to court. I believe that his mother, who was a victim of this press empire that Murdoch runs, I think that she'll be looking down and smiling proudly on him. So anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please do like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you know when the next video is out, and leave me a comment, which I will go through. I love going through the comments, so please do that. And I will see you in the next video. So peace, and I'm out.